Alright, so putting a fuel cell, ooh, shiny, in my car. This is one I had in it. They're the same. I just had this one mounted wrong and I rubbed a hole in it. But I have a fuel pump in here, so I was just wanting to show how I have that done. I don't know if you can see in there, but you can see the fuel pump sitting there. And that's obviously my outlet. And then my wires. So I'll pop this off and pull the fuel pump out, and I'll show you how I have it mounted. It's actually mounted with this bolt on the underside. So I shall show you. Alright, so got your cap, your gasket, and this right here is what I have that mounted with. But there's still fuel in it. So this goes on the underside, and then obviously that goes to there. There's nuts embedded in there, just in case you didn't know. Yeah, yanks. So this is my DW400, a beautiful unit. But I just have this metal rod goes down there that sits about level with that. So that bolts on the top. I can't even see if you can see this. Hang on. DW400 piece of metal I had bent, just hose clamped it there. It's got a hole drilled there. So what this does is this slides in between one of those, and actually I have it on this end because it can flex and it's not bound. So it mounts just like so, like that, and then the bolt goes through the top. So when it sucks it down, it just pinches it in there. And then my fuel filter or fuel pump sits in there like such. So this is it was an O-ring, I just ripped it. It's just a -6 to -6. So make fun of it all you want, but this comes up to a -6 fitting, and it just, that part right there slides through the tank and then it bolts. And then I have an O-ring on top to help keep with fuel splash. And then the last thing I have is my grommet, which feels like I need to replace. This is actually a tire valve, or a valve stem, whatever you want to call it, but rubber's ripped on it, so I will replace it. But I had that hole drilled there. I have it drilled out in the middle, and how I had it whenever it had small wires was I had it drilled out, not as big, run the wires through there, and then I had the cap with a rubber O-ring in it with a hole drilled on top of it. I'd tighten it down like you would put a cap on your valve stems now, but it would crush that rubber O-ring around the wires to keep it from going around. But when I switched to bigger wires, I had to drill it out more, so there's no longer the top part where the valve stem cap would go. So I have this piece of rubber that I stick between the wires and I shove it off in there. A little bit leaks by, but we balling on a budget here, so it works pretty good. Now I got to do drill those 2 holes on this tank. So I don't run the foam in mine. If you want to, you can, I guess, notch it out for where the fuel pump will sit. But I don't run the foam. I could, but I run E85 and I don't know if this foam's rated for it, so I don't want to take chances. I know that you're not supposed to use aluminum fuel tanks with the E85, but the way I see it, it only comes up when you let it sit. YOLO. how to drill my holes. But fuel cell. Don't ask questions. Alright, so I got my holes drilled. What I did is just took a file and stuck it in there and tried to clean up all the inside too. So, my finger. I'll drop that. But, how I get all the metal shavings out of there. So, I don't know if you can see them, but there's a bunch of metal shavings in there. And I found the best ways to do this is with a microfiber. No matter if it's dirty, but everything sticks to a microfiber, so you just in there and you'll be all right. So nothing left to do but to do it, I guess. Make sure I get everywhere in there. I don't know if you can see it, but all the metal shavings on there, which means that this microfiber will be toast as soon as I am done. And I can pull this out real quick. Get it out of the way. That's toast anyways. Alright, now I guess it's time for assembly. Alright, being as the GoPro's died, fuel pump's in. Plumbed up to there, wires go through here, the rubber grommet in there, which I will force feed down in there. It's kind of got a squish between them. So, that being said, time to put the cap back on it so we can put it in the car. Alright, so I got the fuel cell in, my return line, vent tube, that's my water pump down there in the water tank for the intercooler. Got my lines coming out, wires going up.